Hey everyone. We're here with The City Is Ours from you guys are out of London, is that right?
We are
Yeah.
indeed, sir.
I want to go there one day.
Oh
Um,
yeah, we want to leave.
yeah, it's always how it is, right? Like
It is,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
it's funny as
Grass is always
shit.
greener.
Yeah, always. And then you get there and you're like, shit, I want to go back. This is not what I thought it was. So, the new album, Will You Still Love Me, is coming out January 31st. So like next month.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Scary.
Now, that's the second album? Because Coma was the first one, is that right?
It's the third album
Oh
because
shit.
we had an album called Low before that, but it's the second album of
With
this
me.
with Ollie.
And first album with David, our drummer.
God, yeah,
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay.
who
So
is
we're gonna
right
call
here.
it Hello right there. Um so like I was listening through it and I'm honestly really impressed with like Ollie's vocals. Um you
Thank
get
you.
really fucking heavy and really high. I'm like, what in the fuck?
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah, our producer Oz pushed us really hard this this album cycle. He was just like drilling it in to get it as aggressive when it needs to be aggressive or like as dynamic when it needs to be dynamic. And then yeah, definitely did a lot more experimentation than Coma, 100%. But yeah.
yeah, for sure. And I think from a writing perspective as well, as we've said, Coma was kind of already pre-written. A lot of the instrumentals were written before, so it was kind of more fitting Ollie into the record. Whereas this one is solely done around him, really.
That's
It's been a
cool.
big part of his story, and it's allowed us to basically experiment with his voice, his styles, his lyrics, and it's been really cool. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, like you guys are obviously really new to me and I'm digging the sound because you have this like you've got the contrast with the vocals really heavy and getting to really high. You've got Ollie's got a great fucking voice. Um the band as a whole it's really fucking tight and the the way it's described, the best way to describe is some great pop like sensibility, but man, you've got that fucking heavy right in there with it that I think will draw in just a huge amount of people that might not be into the heavier, the heavier music, and you
Mm.
guys draw them in with the more poppier stuff, and then hit them with the heavy and make them go, oh, maybe I do like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was to be fair, we didn't really have a name with this album. We just wrote what we liked. Like we very like yeah, we didn't write for other people apart from ourselves. We only wanted to do what we enjoyed.
Yeah, I think we've had a lot of albums where we've not necessarily written to a formula, but we've definitely been conscious of thinking about what's trendy at the moment or what's working, what do we know people are listening to, and kind of trying to veer that way a little bit. Whereas I think the more time has gone on, we definitely with this album we were conscious to be unconscious about that and
Yeah.
kind of just do what we like, which I think is why you find so much variety in the album. You go from a song like Psycho, which is like real heavy, kind of off the wall,
Yeah. Beastie
and
Boys.
yeah, Beastie Boys, that's a good one. And then you've got songs like In the Dark, which are very poppy and kind of like got that 90s boy band synth like orc hits in it. Um, so I think yeah, it was just kind of like what we were feeling at the time, what we like, and just doing having fun really.
Well, that's the way it should be. And if we look at like bands that have longevity in the industry, they've always written music that they want, versus
Mm.
what they think other people should want. I mean, like in my mind, the age old like people are Metallica. Look at what they did. They have always been themselves, whether we as fans think, man, that album was great or not, they still wrote what they wanted to write.
Mm.
And here they
Yeah.
are 40 something years in and bigger than ever.
I mean,
So, good
Yeah,
yeah,
for
for
you
sure.
guys for sticking on that. What was the, was there like a driving force behind the album? You had like a theme, like, oh, we want to really focus on this, or just whatever happens, happens.
we kind of just met up every weekend and like started a new song like pretty much every weekend. And yeah, we didn't really think like we'd usually start off with like a riff or something and then try and build upon that. But we didn't really start off any songs being like, this has to be this song of the album. Like
Yeah.
it kind of just falls into place. And
Yeah.
then yeah, the like I guess it's just what we were listening to at the moment whilst we were writing it.
Yeah, I think we all listen to such different music. And I think it really was just kind of starting stuff out and jamming with it and adding our own flair into it. And I think that's why you get heavy songs, that's why you get pop songs. But I think before we've been like praised kind of for that, and negatively we've received bad press for it. But it's just what we like. We don't want to stick to something that's like massively too heavy, and we don't want to just do pop. We enjoy kind of bridging that gap between the two.
Yeah. But it's cool to mix, obviously now we've had I think throughout the history of music, everything's been pretty easily definable. You know,
mm,
you, we look at metal bands and you could say, oh, that's thrash or that's death, or then
yeah.
hardcore. You've got hardcore, you've got New York hardcore and California hardcore and whatever. And when you can take, elements from kind of everywhere and mix them together, it makes for a really unique and intriguing like sound. Like there are times I'm not a real big pop guy,
Mm.
and for me, you guys are like turning me on to, more into the pop side, which is, it's cool. I really dig the heavy stuff, but I'm like, oh, okay, I can really dig this. Like I listened through, the new album, and there's never a point in it where I'm like, man, I gotta just skip this song or get past this. I'm always like, man, this is fucking cool.
Thank you
Awesome,
so
man.
much. Yeah,
That's a
amazing.
high
Yeah,
compliment. Yeah.
yeah.
And we obviously people outside of our immediate circle haven't really heard the album, so like getting feedback like that's real helpful for
Yeah,
us.
that is really cool.
Yeah, just thanks, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, that's the benefit to like meshing all of it together, right? Is like,
Yeah.
let's see what we can get, if we can get some people to turn on to something new. Um, it's always my palate's, I don't know, burnt out after 50 years of listening to music or
Yeah.
whatever it is. So something new is really cool. When Ollie came into the band, as a whole, did you guys feel like a shift in the mentality and the dynamic?
Mm, yes, I guess so. It was a really weird time to be honest, because our previous vocalist, left just before COVID hit. So COVID, I can't even, it would have been what, the end of,
2020.
so he would have left at the end of 2019. So we were just about to go into the studio, and we didn't have a screamer at the time, a harsh vocalist, and everything was a bit up in the air. And then COVID happened, and we like spent a year with COVID not being able to say he'd left and we had a new vocalist. So it probably was a shift in mindset, but it was definitely wasn't an instant one. It's more gradual,
Mm.
and it kind of went unnoticed because of such a weird period of time. But all I notice now is vibes are great. We all get on so well. We always did, and we still talk to the previous singer. But everything's great. The new album was really collaborative, and it felt. I think it's the nicest it's been to write of an album that I've been involved in. So So yes, probably in a roundabout way, but it's not really something that we've noticed because of such a weird period of time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think COVID did that to a lot of, a lot of people. There was it almost in the music industry, it almost just had people at a standstill, like you just said, right? We can't really announce anything because we don't
no
have
point.
anything else,
Mm.
like fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've known a few friends in bands that they'd they'd like released a brand new album straight like a few days before lockdown, and that obviously just killed all momentum for them, and it made them stop being a band. Like, yeah, it was hard for a lot of bands.
What a
Yeah,
buzzkill, eh?
yeah, it was terrible. Like, it was crazy seeing music come out and bands not be able to tour behind it. Like, no, I want to see this live. Come on. Like,
Hmm.
Yeah.
let's get this on. I can have 5 people in my garage. I'll put the band up there. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, let's,
That would have been sick.
Yeah.
yeah,
And the problem with
like,
that was by the time it ends, yeah, like people are already expecting another album
Yeah.
if you put one out. So it's like you kind of
yeah,
lose that whole cycle of touring that album.
yeah, you
It
really
was very
did.
tough for bands. Although we were in a tough place of losing our singer and having to figure out this new record, it kind of was better for us. In that way, we had all that time
Yeah.
to go under the radar where no one knew we had a new singer. We could when it all came out, it's just like boom, all right,
Mm.
here we go. So
Right.
yeah,
Once it,
luckily we hadn't put it out beforehand.
hell yeah. So, as far as like the fan base goes, have you seen like what have you seen with the fan base since, Ollie came into the band? Do you see a change in your fans or just like a growth?
Um,
It's hard to tell really because we haven't done many headlines. Like we've
yeah.
done one headline tour since me joining, and I was blown away by the response. It was for the release tour for our last album. Um,
What I will say is there's been a lot of support. Ollie was always part of our team in some capacity. Ollie does photography and videography full time anyway, so a lot of our videos were shot by him and like photos on tour. And it's funny, like I was going through our YouTube a couple months ago and like I saw videos of us at Download. And although it's a different singer, Ollie is in all the videos because he's on stage with us. So I think a lot of the fans who had that invested interest in us knew Ollie, knows Ollie from other bands that he works with, and it was really interesting to see them welcome him with open arms because he was already a name in the scene that we're in.
That's really cool. It's always hard, as a fan to see a band, especially someone so prominent as the vocalist, change out. I think, I know at times I've been like, I'm not sure how I really feel that's going to go over, but to have, the support of the fans, it's, as a band, that's got to feel really freaking good.
I feel very lucky because I've witnessed other bands where they've had a vocalist change, and it is brutal sometimes online.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So like the fact that I've only maybe seen a few like bad comments where you're always going to get some bad comments. Like, yeah, I'm so grateful.
yeah, and I'll say like it was a big shoes to fill because Sam, who sang for us before, has an incredible voice and is a great front. So it wasn't like we were replacing someone that we felt it was an easy role to do. But Ollie just fits the part completely, and you hear that on that record. It's really highlighted.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it goes really well, on the new album. I listened to Coma too because I wanted to go back and kind of get an idea of where the band is going. And I think you guys added a bunch of new elements into this new album. And I'm looking forward to seeing like the public response to it because I feel like it would go over really well like internationally because it's just a solid piece of work from start to finish.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, we definitely as we were touring Coma, we definitely the vibe of Coma is all like sad and bleak, and our like stage presence and stuff like that on stage isn't that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a tough guy front man. Like everyone's like we're all in like 90s pop band t-shirts. Like we're not so like Coma. It was weird. It's weird playing Coma songs because it's very that sort of metalcore.
Yeah.
And then this new we always write like with live shows in mind because that is the main point of it for well me at least.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, there's a massive aspect of fun in the new stuff. Like we want to match the fun of the live show to the fun of the music.
Yeah, I think we started to kind of do that in Coma. There's a few songs that I feel like does it keep you up? Like this opening one, we've kind of started to experiment with those ideas. Like definitely very fun.
Yeah.
Like, but it was almost like we not scared to go fully into it, but kind of just like dipping our toes a bit. Whereas I think when this album came around and we were writing, it was just kind of just why don't we just like, go for what we want to do? And we'll just keep writing what we enjoy, and we'll see how it turns out. And I think it's probably obviously I speak for everyone, but I think I would be right to say I think it's probably our most proud work to date. And I think everyone would feel that way.
That's awesome. So, do you guys have like a song on the album that really sticks out to you or that you connect with more than anything else?
Um, I'd probably enough just because that's it's the last track. It's the longest track on the album. Um, it's the most like vulnerable I've been lyric wise. Um, so tracking that in the studio was a bit difficult because we wanted it to be as little takes as possible, um, to be as raw as possible. So yeah, I got pushed hard for that one, which ended up in a little cry in the vocal booth, which is always a good sign.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think that track just like encompasses the whole album. The vibe of the album is like a roller coaster, just up and down and up and down and up and down until you reach this final climax of what really the whole album is about. And I think it just helps to round it off and really just if I had to pick one song, not necessarily the song that I thought was the best, but the song that I thought showed the whole album in its meaning and its message and how we felt doing it, it would be enough. So I would agree with that.
that's
It's
pretty
either that
awesome.
or yeah, or I See You, which is kind of the aftermath of enough talking to other people struggling with the same thing. But
Wow.
you know.
So, okay, so I'm gonna ask, like, what talk to me about like the lyrical content of Enough.
Oh, it's just when you're growing, like it's just about coming out to your family, really. Um, and it's just about not wanting to be a disappointment. And obviously, you know if you're not like if you're part of the LGBT community or anything like that when you're pretty young. And obviously, you expect the worst of anyone's reaction, so that just rolls around in your head again and again and again, and you just kind of alienate yourself into thinking if you come out to your family, if there's a huge chance you're going to be kicked out, which unfortunately is still an issue that happens in 2024, which is ridiculous because family shouldn't, it's none of their business really, and it doesn't affect them. Um, so yeah, it's about coming out to my mum, and it was just what was going on through my head for probably 10 years of building up in my head.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the album is Ollie's story. We all collabed and we've all written lyrics and different things in different parts, but it is us wanting to tell Ollie's story, and that is Ollie's story, the pain and the struggle of dealing with that. And it's not a singular story. It's not something that one person has been through. Everyone has been through it to a different degree, but obviously that community, it's tough, and I think he portrays it really well and enough. Like we're all sat there listening to him do that, and there's pure silence and a lot of emotion in the studio. You can just feel how tough that must be, and I think it comes through a lot. I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of Ollie because it's a hard story to tell.
Yeah. I I can't imagine having to deal with that, right? Like me
Mhm.
personally, I don't give a shit, right? What someone
Yeah.
like what someone
Yeah,
is
of course.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
isn't, right? Because we're all fucking at the end of the day, we're all human.
Mm.
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah,
my kids, if my kids came to me and said, "Hey, I'm this," like, okay,
Yeah,
am
yeah,
I
of
yeah.
course.
like, are we still gonna go like to a show or dinner? Like, because that honestly shouldn't fucking matter to,
No,
especially a parent, you know?
Yeah.
no, of course. And I think like it's you have had good experiences,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We want to clarify. It's not like that's happened.
Yeah.
But the problem
Yeah.
is in our heads a lot of the time beforehand. And I know it's not just to this issue. It's everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people have the issue where you build something so much in your head, and then you get to that point, and it is okay, but the lead up and that suspense and the thoughts and the anxiety that comes with it beforehand, it can eat at you. And I think that's what the whole album's about. It's those thoughts and the worry and the and I know it's tough, like even talking about it now, because it's a story that although it is put through the album, it's a tough one. It's a tough one to talk about.
Yeah. So, Ollie, do you feel like since you've written and recorded the album, do you feel like a lot of that is going to go out and like obviously taking like weight off your shoulders because that is something you deal with, and
Hmm.
do you feel like it'll connect with other people and just help them feel not so alone, or is that your hope?
That is the hope, 100%. It's not really, it's a thing in alternative music, like that subject matter, but I wouldn't say in the metalcore scene, it's not really a thing. There's a couple people in the community, like C Space Cowboy, obviously have Connie, um, the front woman, but yeah, I just hope, yeah, some little weird queer kids in the scene, yeah, find it and find some solace in it, which is which was the aim, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's trying to shine a light on an issue that isn't overly represented within the genre, but is a big part of our lives, especially like like we're all best friends with Ollie, even if we're not necessarily we're straight men. Stuff is so weird to say, but like we all love Ollie dearly, and we all have sympathized with his pain and struggle, and we want the best for him and anyone who listens to the story and feels they can relate. And it's all love and acceptance, and we want that for everyone. And everyone deserves it, especially Ollie with this story. It's just, and I think it's put out in that way beautifully from what he says, and the lyrics he's got.
Yeah. It's I agree, right? Like we first and foremost, I think that again, right, we're all human. That should be
Mm.
the ultimate connection. Whether
100%.
whether you agree with everything that I say or not, it's okay. It's okay to have different mindsets, right? It's okay to be straight or gay or trans or whatever that is. Just let's just be fucking humans.
Yeah, definitely, man.
So, since Ollie's joined the band, what has your like tour regimen been like?
So we're currently on tour at the moment. We have a day off, but we're with the home team touring the UK, which has been, yeah, it's been amazing. It's not very often we're the heaviest band on the bill,
Yeah, this
so
is
that's
true.
been a really weird thing to figure out. But yeah, we've kind of built the set to appeal more to the poppy, like the pop fans, but we've still got some heavy bangers in there. And then yeah, we're off uh to Europe with Self-Deception straight after. So there's 4 days around Europe, and then we're back just before Christmas, and then we have some more shows with Self-Deception in February in Europe and March in the UK. So yeah, quite a lot of shows to showcase the new album, which is what we needed.
Yeah, and it's been fun. It's something we've not really done before, which is play songs that haven't been released. We've always kind of been that band. I can't really think of another situation where we've done it. We've always waited to a release to play the songs. And on this run, we've played a few songs that are maybe about to drop soon or are we are needing to do for shooting music video
Yeah,
wise or different purposes like that. So kind of been forced into this place where we have to play some of the stuff that no one's heard, which has been quite nice to gauge reactions and see what they think of the songs ahead of the release.
Yeah, how do you feel like the new songs are going over with the crowds?
I
Yeah,
think really well with respect like this new stuff. It's like because it is heavy pop, I guess. It's like more riffy than the metal like techie sort of stuff, like metalcore techie sort of stuff. So I think it fits really well with yeah the home team crowd at least. And Self-Deception has been great. Like yeah, new stuff's gone down really well. Like yeah, seeing people sing back songs to singles that only came out a couple like last month or the month before is super cool.
Hell yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's
especially
got
we've been yeah because we got added to the home team tour after it had already sold out. So like the majority of the time, it's also people that had never heard of us before because they just came for the home team. So it's been nice to hopefully win some fans over.
sounds like it. Sounds like, if they're, with recent singles, they're coming to the shows and singing along. Like
Mm.
that's a
Yeah.
really good fucking sign, like, all
Mm.
right, we're kind of doing something.
Mm.
yeah, it's been a really good experience, and they're just the best people to share the experience with as well. Home team and Andreas that we're on tour with at the moment, just the nicest dudes. Great music, great musicianship. It's just a dream, really, man.
Hell yeah. So what do you guys have like goals or thresholds with the release of the new album that you would like to meet?
Be real, no. I think we've um we've kind of relied too much on that in the past.
Yeah.
Like, check it. I remember when the first album came out, checking like the Spotify numbers constantly and things like that. And I think if something doesn't release how you'd want it to, it can be a bit disheartening and disappointing. And it's not like we spent the last month on this album. We spent the last like year and a half, 2 years, some of the songs even longer. So I think it is good to have a place where you want to be. Like we want it to do well. We want it to reach out to people, but we're kind of relaxed on that front in terms of as long as people like it and we get good feedback and it seems to reach a good amount of people, we're kind of chill with it.
Yeah.
It's it's so exhausting to kind of get bogged down with the numbers and I just don't think it's very good for like mental health to keep up with that. So yeah, we want it to do well. We want people to enjoy it, and that's kind of it, really. I don't know if I'm speaking for myself, but
No, yeah, we're just seeing how it goes, really. Like, yeah, I hated checking the numbers. Like,
Yeah.
especially if you were like super excited for the release of it, because we spent hours and hours on it because we all do the music videos in-house as well. Like it's all with everyone has plays a part in the music videos. And especially when we if we spend an insane amount of time and then expect it to do insanely well, it's just it yeah, it bogs you down if you care too much about it. So this album has been a lot less number orientated, I guess. It's just yeah.
Yeah. That's well, that I mean, that's good because you're right. You get so focused on how it's doing that you're not looking at things that the band as a whole really has to do to go, whatever
Mm,
that next step is, right? Booking another tour or writing another song. You're like, this,
mm,
focused on honestly something you really can't control.
yeah. Frederick.
So, over the next like year, what we've got tours up to like February. Do you guys have tours planned beyond that?
Not yet, honestly. We obviously want to get back to Europe um, as much as possible and UK. But yeah, we yeah just got shows booked up until March, and then hopefully in the new year there'll be more stuff.
Yeah, we're trying to do a lot of support stuff at the moment. We've been many years of pure headline stuff, so we're kind of in that place now where we're trying to reach out to people who don't know us and find where we sit almost in the genre. It's nice touring with things like Home Team because they're a bit poppier, but then we've toured with a lot heavier bands, and it's kind of fun to reach all those audiences. Um, so I think the plan for us will be see what we can get in terms of other support tours and maybe throw a few headlines in there to kind of celebrate the release. That's kind of it's nothing's really set in stone apart from the tours that we have at the moment up till March.
Mm.
All right. So, if there's a band that you guys could like open for, let's say a month on the road, who would that band be?
You
Bill
know what?
Murray.
Bill
Bill
Murray
Murray.
is probably who we
Yeah.
would pick, to be fair. And one of those bands, funnily enough, would have been the Home Team.
Yeah.
So this is amazing that we're out with them at the moment. But Bill Murray is just like it's everywhere at the moment,
Yeah.
and it's like all I think all of us had him as our top listener, top artist on Spotify. Not that we're getting into the numbers, eh? But
Yeah.
we're all,
Like
he was all
that
up there.
that's pretty great that you guys are all on the same page with that, right? And one of those bands, like, the home team, you're out on the road with them. It's like, oh well shit, check that off the bucket
Yeah.
list. What's next?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
100%, man. It's very cool, and it's very cool getting to meet those guys and seeing that they're just the sweetest dudes. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, nice stuff, really.
Hell yeah. Uh, what has been like your favorite show, like since Ollie came into the band? Have you guys had like a show that was like better than all of the rest?
I think we there's a venue in Camden in London called the Underworld that we played and sold out, which for us was like a massive achievement. It's right by the station, you get the name on the thing, it's like that kind of show. And to sell that out was amazing. The show was great. We had some really cool elements.
Yeah.
We played some of the old songs and Ollie sang with the old Screamer, which was really cool and the fans really, really digged. I just think overall that was just like it was just a nuts show for us to
Yeah.
play. So I would probably say that.
I would say that, but it was also like a 18 song set. And
Yes.
the longest we'd done before that was like 55 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
so like it was like an hour and a half, an hour 40 minutes. And I got halfway, I can't remember past halfway through it. So like yeah, because there was so much pressure. I was just so nervous that night. Um, so like we've played it a few times since headlining it, and because there was no pressure, it's been so fun. Like we're doing it with the home team in a few days. But apart from that, there's a venue in Cologne um, called Club Volta, which we just did a show with Self Deception
That was
in,
very cool.
and that was probably what I felt like personally my favorite European show we've done, I think.
Right on. What made that one so special for you, Ollie?
Um, just because we played it before, um, like that venue, and I don't know what the crowd were great. Everyone was like felt confident in what they were playing. Like everyone came off and was like, "Oh, we played so well." Um, yeah, and it's taken me a while to even find my footing as a frontman. It literally took me 3 years. Um, so like the past few tours, yeah, I just felt on the top of the game, and that was just the crowd were great, and Germany's always great because they love metal. So
Yeah, that they do for sure. It's good to finally like feel like you're finding your footing as the front
Mm.
man in a band because I can, I like I can only imagine what it's like to go out there and be like, okay, I'm the new guy. Let's do this.
Yeah, yeah, especially like I because I've never been in bands before City, um, so you obviously have an expectation of yourself to be like, yeah, going to do the first show and just kill it. And the fact that it took like literally like yeah 2 years, very humbling. But yeah, it
Yeah.
took like tours where like we before this tour we'd only done like 5 6 shows this year. It was like been a pretty quiet year, but um we were, the first shows we did we were like gagging to go to play them. Um, and we didn't really have any expectations of like, oh, we need to sell this much merch, we need to blah 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 blah. We just wanted to play shows to have fun. And yeah, since then it's just been like, oh yeah, just have fun on stage and then just talk and it's fine. Like
It's great
but
when you
yeah,
make that connection, you're like getting up on stage and you're like, shit, I gotta perform good. And then it's like, hold on,
yeah,
I just gotta have fun. Like this is
yeah.
You do. You
so do you,
often find like the second you start to think about things, it becomes almost worse. But if you're having fun, the audience sees you having fun, and that's kind of what matters.
yeah. Yeah, and you can, from the audience aspect, you can almost always tell, or at least I can, when the people on stage are really trying to force the fun and not really just having fun. You're like, oh, come on, dude. Like, just relax. Go smoke a joint or something. Like, you'll be fine. Like, I don't even know. Um, you guys, so do you have a crazy like tour story, right, that you want to share with the world?
Well, the last European tour,
Oh, that was pretty bad. I was going to say we're quite a tame band when
yeah,
it comes to tour. It isn't that bad, but we were. Yeah, do you want to?
yeah. So we rented a like a camper van. Is it like a Winnebago?
Yeah, like a Winnebago.
Um, to tour Europe. And we got like 2 shows in, and then the engine warning light came on, so it put the engine into limp mode, so you couldn't go more than like 30 miles per hour. And we were in Germany, so you're on like the autobahn, which doesn't have a speed limit, so that is insanely dangerous. So we had to stop, and it took about 6 7 hours for a recovery vehicle to come, to take it to a garage, and it was like, yeah, it's going to take 4 days to repair, and it's going to be about 3 grand. But it's not ours. But we were talking to the rental company about it, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we can fly you back. It's fine." And we were like, "No, we've got all of our musical equipment. Like, what do we do?" So as they were figuring that out, we rented another van to play the next show on the tour because we didn't want to drop out. Um, And yeah, we were on the phone to them constantly, and they were like, "Oh, I don't actually know if we can get you back to the UK." And we were like, "Okay, don't really know what to do." So we ended up. It wasn't fun really. We had to drop out of the tour, drive the rental vehicle from the Netherlands back to the UK to drop all the gear off, like the musical equipment, and then drive back to the Netherlands and then fly back home, which is
Yeah, it's very
2 days.
long-winded. It's a lot of planning and brain power that went into it, and we were all a bit exhausted after that, for sure.
Yeah, what a pain in the ass. We're gonna drive.
Yeah.
We can't just drive back to the UK and leave it. Uh-oh.
4 hours. Like, yeah, so dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, ridiculous. Um, how many shows you guys got left on the tour now?
We've got four more, I believe.
4 in the
On
UK with
yeah,
the
with
home team. And then we finish in London and drive to Czech Republic and do another 4 with Self-Deception. So yeah, back in time just before Christmas. But that also means none of us has done Christmas shopping.
yeah,
We've got about 3 days
it's
to
gonna
do
be
Christmas
a
shopping.
sad Amazon field Christmas
Yeah.
for sure.
Listen, everything I'm gonna tell you, like I'm that guy. I don't like going to stores, so everything I buy is off the internet. Like I get an email, oh good, I can buy that for my wife. Like she'll enjoy that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
well, that'll be cool. Guys, I appreciate your time. I greatly appreciate your time. It's fun learning about the band. I'm looking forward to seeing what is coming for you guys in the new year. I'm gonna ask that you guys come to the States. Make it a
Oh, we wish.
make
We
don't
hope
wish,
so,
Yeah.
man.
make it happen.
We really
I'm
hope
sure.
so. It's definitely
I'm,
on our like bucket list.
Yeah.
It has been pretty much since the inception of the band. So yeah, we'll do what we can to make it happen, man.
yeah, 2025. The city is ours in the US, like let's make it happen. If I can do something to help, I'll absolutely help you get over here.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Thanks for having
Uh,
us as
Yeah,
well.
thank
And
you.
thanks for taking the time to hear our stories.
yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys go have a great, rest of your tour, rest of your year, and happy holidays.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
man.
man.
Happy
Happy
holidays to
holidays.
you too.
Thanks. See ya.